Hello, species value nature system. We have evidence perception crimes that weren't sourced from. So when they on CNN they were talking with experts about how the justice system works. They have the justice system, juxtaposed with other nations here or there, with natures of industry uncharged, that cause negative value nature progressions. At the same time, when the whole volume was exploited from this, caused by our tactically denatured relationship to nature and me as means. Value nature system that tactically didn't reach out to the entire volume distinctly and non-distinctly, both sickly, to keep how distinctly, sickly from being allowed demonstrated. Since I was a kid, I've been trying to report things sequentially. This is also a crime method that pretends that, like, say, if I say I don't know someone completely at all, which I don't, I know of them from other people and from his own confessions, demonstrated recorded crime rolls with context juxtaposed with overt criminal enterprises from various nations, interstate, and other natures of them recorded, juxtaposed, needing to maintain, facilitated, needing to hide the same lies, delusions that has our natures of agencies as Russians and as Americans needing to hide, to prevent the perfect world, with narratives like that needed in the background, because there's also psychology doctors forging names. Like if there's verbal differences, they're starting verbal fights or they're forcing it ignored because they're with identity thefts. So juxtaposed with this Joshua Julian, or a whole bunch of people I don't know. I mean, I know barely, but you know what I'm saying? But so I don't really know them. And they can't be honest about those contexts. Interbranch, foreign, juxtaposed. Fake sides. Right through fake sides. Now this is tied to fake news crime acts with Connecticut media, with their roles with CCSU, criminally involved, with juxtaposed natures of crime acts and criminals. And reception preventing this from being demonstrated by preventing free speech outside of courts. They're telling us to sue, to have various natures of courts forging names, switching names, and stacking evidences criminally into fake things, into databases, fake ties between people. So then they have a pathology of fact treatment nature defended where they're separating issues that can't be separated. This is from what originally still maintained juxtaposed as the cause of 99.9% of the crimes. Common sense demonstrate this. The organized crime breaching method using human fact treatment nature since before our founders' births and then since. That not let demonstrated. We have organized crime conversation to counter, but we can't counter it because it's criminal, but without understanding how everyone was our victim predator roles. To a base propagated this from this. We try to correct things here on the paper level, at the political narrative level as jobs, forced reliant on natures of experts, all reliant on other natures of experts. So I'm not even a police force. I'm not even briefed on this stuff. Like I'm not interbranch or anything like that. I'm not military. But I went to CCSU. And they also recorded pretending things are allegations to prevent free speech per their roles with identity theft crime acts. That's why we need the crime acts of the news that attach me to fake conversation in the hidden crime acts of courts with areas. Not just against me. I'm not going to, against my family members too. See, but they're trying to make it a fight because they have them involved as sensibilities where they're already recorded demonstrating to everyone they're not going to follow the rules, that they lied behind my back with people I don't know, criminally involved. I caught them with a principal sex offender. That's also involved criminally with the Russians. I don't know the name of the Russian woman at Hartford Hospital confessed and recorded involved also with a Dr. Leahy and his son's wife, his other family and stuff, male and female with them. Pretended they knew me through time. I never had a conversation with them in my life. Complete strangers juxtaposed with the ones that are rhetorical strangers. See, but then they go into courts, they pretend they're doing fact treatment true. They're attaching to truths lies, delusion. They're hiding that, torturing that, not mentioned. That's why they've been telling in other words, but the state police also recorded torturing, threatened me to say nothing, with physical delusions recorded, which is important too, because they have doctors recorded involved with the extended foreign family members of the houses in my area, from my grade, with the interbranch family and their kids criminally involved. Use it recorded. So we have to have the fake news crime acts with CT media, because these are juxtaposed crime roll acts with federal criminals, overt criminal enterprises acts. See, they need to make allegations and pretend evidence receptions. They're not worried about evidence reception because they put fake news crime acts, fake conversation with me in the news, recorded threatening us not to say anything about them switching names and forging names, making confessions, then leaving that out, sequence shifting with Connecticut cases. This is recorded tied to their crime acts for the 2006 case, with the same actors, interstate, CCSU, other campuses, tied worse than interstate, because we have interbranch families from my town, criminally foreign influenced, involved with jobs of stewardships of the branches, in collusion with each other, in collusion with agencies and with their family members, recorded. When I say recorded too, this is not just all Facebook, but this is totally recorded on Facebook. Also as their evidence reception, making mistakes on purpose crime rolls, using that for crimes, sex crime acts with a principal sex offender, just sentenced, for that they sustained with the other sex offenders still associated with the school. They're discrediting me because they're reliant upon database solution stacking. They can't pretend on paper. So they use the real paper and the fake news to pretend they had a conversation with me. To attach my parents to convictions they believe are true, but they're recorded lying. This is also with WFSB, Fox CT, with people criminally involved with houses on Two Rod Highway, with a Fianza family, house across the street from him, and Allegro's Cafe guy, reportedly. I never had a conversation with his kid in my life. Involved with the ownership of a building in Hartford, called the Russian Lady now. It was Blue before, Club Blue before, and they're involved with people. There were dozens of people from my town who I barely know, strangers. Sequentially, they all made confessions, have recorded crime rolls with the courts criminally involved, interbranch retired and standing, recorded the correlation of Fianza family criminally involved with them, with judges, with in court crimes, and with the state judicial branch officers, and with their families' crime rolls, with the body dumping spot of Billy Grasso, fake news crime acts rolls, with their investigators and stuff like, and with the Dillon family, recorded and confessed, demonstrated, non-verbally confirmed, involved criminally with my new and past neighbors. These are people being facilitated as victim predators. They're being used to pretend that the Justice Department ever had integrity. They never had integrity. They can't. They're as voices, identities of law that are not truth, and pretending to be truth, because they're quoting precedents in how things work that are sick, forced by what was here since before our founders' births to cause negative value nature progressions, acts, and natures. Acts like predicate acts. Natures like criminal insidiousness natures. All are not peaceful, not criminal. We'll examine how free speech was not allowed to demonstrate how the lawyers parted to types of law, whereas sensibility natures incapable of defending their roles with it, the same way the branches were built, abridged, low, forcing presidents to pretend that doesn't exist. As pseudo-positive natures, as criminal insidiousness nature. Our obligation was to have a, and how you can't speak, they want to speak for rights. You can't speak for rights of men or women when you have a volume of humanity in that trap on a mass scale already every day. Their parents too. Their parents' parents. Tactically denature relationship to nature. So what the president is trying to have is a quality of fact treatment nature that everyone believes, that everyone believes that everyone wants, but no one, what is manifest can't defend itself. And I'll say that at the same time, from what exploits that. Criminal foreign influences. This is through administrations. Even if they had their arm right around President Obama at the same time like Brennan, these guys aren't. These are fact treatment rackets reliant upon the same things that everyone's forced to counter. That they're forced to counter. They're only then at the same time be experts in relationship to what? A whole bunch of nations shared undercover policing as knaves, liars, as identities of law that can't. They have to pretend positive per the nature's actual relationship to itself, which is more than just what's going to cause positive or negative something to work as an eventualism or health, but what's going to also make it positive onto and as the value of our nature as value. Because value is nature as value, as the identity that is all things at once. It's only going to be a state of perfect value progression. And the nature that we are distinctly in control of, in range of positive, it is not that's a perfect value progression that is beyond our control mostly anyways. In other words, if we want something positive like food, water, it's not through these other systems it's going to cause negative value nature progressions, acts, and natures. That's what was built to stay. Each title needing to defend that experience into nonsense, into knowledge, forsaking correlation nature's identity, life's identity, the identity of relationship to itself as a forever nature. Clear. That means appear. We don't have to agree about the extent of it, but we have offensive lies, we have offensive theories that are making people make confessions, then demonstrations out of sequence. See, because when there was kids make confessions and stuff like that, demonstrate collusion recorded with adults, it's one thing. You're a kid. You can't do anything about it. People are, off campuses and on off campuses facilitated crime rolls with other natures of crime. So CNN, please fix the fake news. Please have WFSB and Fox CT fix their fake news and say they're sorry for their identity theft crime acts. Evidence is crime acts. Acting to the parents, other parents, about me. Lying in the pretend I had a doctor as a kid or as an adult. This Leahy family also had a complete conversation. They forged Dr. Shamsel Lee's name. The police recorded threatening me not to sit in their police officer office. At the same time, they're pretending that's why they're not doing anything because instead they're forging more names, stacking more names in families. And they were facilitated to do this because they were recorded with crime rolls growing up. Crime acts, rolls, evidence uses of databases criminally, identity thefts, lying to whole groups, as the people that are liars, calling other people liars, as means to pretend they had conversations with them. They're writing down that people made grandiose allegations that they never had conversations with. As trade center crimes. This is serious. Then they're covering up their lie progressions by using child offenders and roles with the courts criminally involved, various natures of courts and their family members. Because the ones that are adults that are involved, and with the complete strangers I don't know at all, they're with the ones that are strangers that I only know as other, for what they try to record to pretend illusions. We have offensive evidence perception racket because they can't defend the identity they are together here in Russia, other places. So what they do, they need to have these rackets and identities defended, measured, defended, fake. So it's now the FBI told me only talk to them recorded on the phone. They hung up the phone. See, because the former director of the FBI, Robert Luskin's criminally involved. Many houses in my area use criminally involved through time. No, they're victims. I feel bad for them. They're needing to have fights because most people won't understand how to say it. That's why I'm saying focus on the crime acts, the fake news crime acts, the sex crime acts, using Facebook with the New Britain Superior Court's Facebook page with the principal sex offender, and then arresting me for trying to report that and what brought that up, which was untimely deaths that are connected, one at Trinity College with my previous and new neighbors attached to the same Dillon family, criminally involved with that, with child offenders, database crimes with his partner and stuff like that when I was a kid, with 2 speech classes. Then with ones with classes criminally, with actors criminally at CGSU, Trinity College, Middlesex Community College, colleges I didn't even go to, like UConn, criminally involved. They have intercity criminally involved acts, like with Officer McDonald's and the ones forging and switching names with the name McGee, and with an MPO Floyd, Eastern States Narcotics Drug Task Force, involved with drug crimes with kids and with the sex offenders cliques, federal crimes with evidence perception, identity thefts. Scope. Of course they heard me raise my voice. I let them paint themselves. Now and I didn't raise my voice to anybody formal. I caught them. That's because this Dillon guy speaks through other people. Then he demonstrates that he's involved with their confessions. And with his son and his Dillon woman with the real estate, with a bunch of real estate companies criminally involved. Alina's Pizza on Park Street sought us to demonstrate and record their criminal involvements. And with Cuddy family, I never had one conversation with any of those 3-4 brothers in my life. His neighbor recorded and confessed involved now. There's also an officer, Hunter, in that police court, and people with the other MPs, intercity with tied crime acts, because they're making confessions and crime acts rolls by people not following mandated law. So then you're not allowed to report this over here, this over there. And they're pretending sue while they're stacking other natures of crimes, other natures of motivations for people to slander people. So I couldn't go into a contract legally with any nature of industry. Even the Rocky Hill schools tied to the child sex offenders crime rolls further with interbranch families, because they're using other people's names. Ill evidence perception bodies, the only ones we have. Same time, we have to value them more and more because of the relationship we have with Russians shared here policing, other nations shared here policing. Policing what? Shared here with their family members and things like that, with campuses, intercampuses, fire departments, campuses criminally involved, from off campuses, keeping no one let a voice because they're using the courts and the police forms recorded with crime acts and collusion. They're also recorded with crime methods from off campuses and facilitated as off campuses and on off campuses maintain live progression, cover up nature's needs, roles, and styles. They're hurting anyone who has correlation nature to what really causes negative value nature progressions acts in nature, not blaming on other people, other things, and on selves. So we have an exploited volume of nature. We have an organized crime conversation that used about color that we're not going to pretend that theater can't talk about that. Because it doesn't hurt at all when you tell it right. What hurts it all, pretend that other things made it. Pretend they don't understand our history, our American, our founders' identity still right in our face. Pretend to be that the Justice Department is worse than criminally incompetent regarding the organized crime method against the fact-cheaping nature of our founders. The database illusion stacking crime method and roles with people pretending truth and positive, pretending facts that were being used criminally to lock everybody invested. They did this before they had that formally wasn't just trade. They were consciously building everybody, blaming others, things, and selves for the real causes of negative value nature progressions, acts, and natures. So, Attorney General Jeffrey Sessions is also being lied to about how state's attorneys are with the real election crime role. Opinion natures that are defending natures of jobs as is, with precedents not just breached, currently foreign influence, but how? Through time recorded too. That's why how the confessions as adults, demonstrations as adults, got involved with their professions as kids about their roles with overt criminal enterprises juxtaposed. Now with this Joshua Julian still uncharged, spreading lies about criminal enterprises, about me and my family, with his identity theft acts and roles with the branches, with people with the crime acts, with the campuses, databases, whole bunch of names, people that are strangers to me. They want to play fact-cheaping nature, pseudo-semantics and semantics. We're going to have to discern distinctly from semantics because we have the branches with as fact-cheaping nature, trick natures, using knowledge to pretend that they don't realize they're liars, criminally foreign influence, sick natures. That's what's the problem. We need the fake news fixed, and we'll examine their criminal uses of Facebook and of shared policing spots, the pathology of like the facade of businesses, how it stays tactically criminally denatured, how we could have just pulled people out of the people stacking and sent in the means, the dirt and stuff like that free, long time ago, and how it never came to fruition because we have the position, each position of fact-cheaping natures as ours, even and especially regarding chiefs, presidents. They're being forced to pretend truth because they're being forced to pretend a narrative here or there. They torture. Torture is from here. Worse than torture. This is torture, but juxtaposed. Torture, fake care. This is sustained on areas. This is methodically keeping minority women and men against women and men. Each age of fact-cheaping nature is in a trap. Therefore, I rap. This is completely recorded. They have the fake news crime act picture of me. Now they're using it for another nature of crime role with the courts, with the unplanned policing criminally involved, with the sex offenders. They have it. It says Rani Mansour's new lover. Picture of me from their fake news crime act where they forced the principal sex offender to sustain they're not letting this told on. They're not letting the police departments use because they're already invested with a whole bunch of forging names, switch names recorded. Intercity, criminally involved. Also unrealized recorded, in other ways recorded. A Juxtaposing confirmed to me, confessed and demonstrated his wife. I never had a conversation with her in my life. Lucinda Klavinskis. Other Wethersfield students I never had a class with. They said when I walked by something, she was spreading the rumor that I'm going to go to jail when I grow up. He's recorded and confessed with CCSU dozens of names criminally involved. And with the crime acts, with the people that were on and off campuses. Before I ever went there, and then after I graduated from there. And then, so with every college I went to, before I went there and after I graduated, crime act rules with the people that were in my grade, that were recorded and confessed, involved with database crimes, identity theft crime acts, with the campuses, sequence shift rules. These are also people tied to a proven sequence shift in the Ninth Circuit Trade Center attack context. Ninth Circuit's right next to the Trade Center attack context. They're a co-defendant. That was proven after that. We went there right before the Trade Center attack. Then we got judged late. My father did. I'm saying we because the people in that case, the federal criminals, had crime rules with the kids when I was a kid, in my grade, and tied to the houses in the area with the sex offenders that are further criminally involved with ones, and with the interbranch families already invested to roles with their kids. They had to hide with federal crime acts. They're just defending titles, but that was as anticipated and exploited, keeping them needing to hide the same finite body of value and progressive and identity lies with these overt criminal enterprises. Fox CT is also involved with all kinds of involvements of Los Solitos criminally involved with this. And, criminal justice, policing, training of them undercover and stuff. Houses on Church Street, recorded and confessed, criminally involved by policing families. Now as adults, and then distinctly when they were kids. I don't know them. They need to pretend other when I say those things. And then they need to pretend other when I say nothing. Opposite. They're forcing people, this is forced sequentially, maintaining the originally states and areas criminally for and influenced identities of positions. Forgiveness was for this, for the quality of fact-cheap nature, preventing the president. You didn't give Obama free speech. Now give it to Trump, because you're not giving it to him criminally. Obama could even take office again if he wanted, demonstrably, because we have all liars. We have them, you have to fix the fake news, crime acts. The news is recorded worse than demonstrating tortures and stuff like that, threatening us not and torturing us not to, stealing our identities, worst natures of federal crime acts, not telling us not to have their fake news crime acts fixed. Because they're in collusion with the people making the fake Facebook pages, pretending to be me, pretending to be my father, pretending to be other people tied to me through time. There's also sex crime acts tied to this person with it says Ronnie Malbonsour is a new lover. It's a picture of me. I have it on my Facebook page because there's no place to go to the police now. It's now the time for the Attorney General to come in. Because I went to the state police are criminally involved with the area too, not just with a. And then Bob Chase confessed and recorded that with others that Phil Collusion is criminally involved with the principal sex offender cliques, further involved with the kids. He's one with the identity thefts against me. Never had a conversation with him in my life. I explained how they tried to pretend other, as recorded too, his recorded and confessed crime rules with identity thefts with two Mendez police brothers. Two Carone twins I never had anything to do with them. All, all people, like hundreds of names, like, I mean, how many names from my town criminally used because they use the sensibilities, and then it's a crime methods recorded where they make where they stack database illusions. You know, they're asking questions and making things seem that are implying things true that aren't true. Then they're switching names and forging names inter branch and inter campuses and switching sequences and not switching names, so then the person can't get a response. See, now I can't go into the industry without ignoring things that force. See, because I did intercity because I was boxing. So I've been being extorted too. People in boxing that don't even box. Like a little kid, Sammy Vega. He's involved with criminal uses of the media with Confederate flag themed families with the child sex offenders and with the identity thefts and with the evidence crime acts and cases and criminal uses of my area with the FBI, various natures of them involved, including with the not just with the body dumping of spot people involved, and that's also across from one of the hands of people involved criminally is a Sal Civiello, and he's tied to a Kathy Tansey and the sex offenders clique in my area. She was also pretending I had a conversation with her about the CIA. She's also involved with the identity theft crime acts with these cliques, prison cliques and stuff like that, drug cliques with the stores policing and stuff like that. Also involved juxtaposed with overt criminal enterprises, needing to tell the same fine. Also the the extended married into ties to Billy Grosso, the guy on the witness protection program, also that involved with criminally with the FBI in my area, with houses. You see what I'm saying? With sensibilities where everyone thinks because the FBI guy tells them a secret, the FBI is true, but they're not. There's a guy named Ian up the street. Never had a class with him in my life. Never had a conversation with him in my life. On Twitter, I don't know if it's the same one. Like, he was also demonstrated, confessed, and tied with the intercity, like Middletown, stuff like that. They have criminally foreign influence criminal justice programs associated with CCSU, criminally involved with the crime acts, with the fake news. A Steven Stocco, a Maria Fazzino, also recorded and confessed criminally involved with CCSU. Crime acts with the area tied to that. Crimes with the police tied to that. Crime rolls with the police tied to that. And with their fake news crime acts rolls clicks. John Miano, intimately involved with one of the Christines criminally involved. Let's go. We got bad people. It's time. They've been lying to the Attorney General of the United States Sessions and the ones because they've been keeping the state's attorneys involved with crime methods against people coming into streams of courts each day. Before the people working in the courts, the prosecutors, long term and more recently from my age there, they were criminally forward influenced, criminally involved with rackets, with overt criminal enterprise, juxtaposed with our branches ones in collusion. No separation of branches. No, nothing was integrity originally and still. George only didn't tell a lie when we demonstrate how he came to CT, Cherry Tree, Connecticut, when if he even did say that. If he didn't, they put that up there because this is what they do. They pretend to be against what they're doing. Offensively, that's facilitated to it, and they're getting away with it because we have former director of the FBI, have other agencies and their family members recorded and involved with crimes exploiting everything industry tied to that. And we have the same thing being done in Russia with psychology. Physical delusions originally and still not let told on outside of courts where it counts. They have crime methods because people that aren't connected are staying facilitated to a method that's keeping overt criminal enterprises, criminal insidiousness natures, juxtaposed, alter roles, pretending that the branches have the right to be criminal insidiousness natures because they're victim predators. It's recorded how they were raised this way by theater too, lying to people with database positions and reactions with with different training of kids with different natures of education. They're also sabotaging people's educations at key points, each age of fact treatment nature. They're making, they're wasting our time. They're worse than wasting our time. Let's get the names of the judges in sequence true, because this is also tied to the proven sequence and these are crime acts roles leading up to a 2006 case and since, with the houses, with people facilitated to crime roles, with and as people all tied to one's houses in my area, already tied to and as recorded crime roles with the sex offenders, what brought it up with untimely deaths, as huge drug clicks into branch and stuff like that, and as haters. Then they get so mad if you want to demonstrate that them telling little lies and big lies against strangers because they need to pretend to other that they can't pretend on paper. They need to. That's why they told the news to fake things, because they need to cover up lie progressions because they were criminally foreign influence. As we have recorded the problem, lie progressions are being used in relationship to database type clicks and sensibility natures due to the exploitation of them. We'll examine. Not one branch is worthy. Bow, then fall.